Tom Miller has been Iowa's Attorney General for more years than any AG in the country ever. He'll tell us why he wants another term, how he handles defending the state on issues he may not agree with, and he makes a prediction about what Republicans might do with that first redistricting map, plus the COVID-15. And in the Insider's Quick Six, an experienced candidate talks up experience.
From your local election headquarters, this is the Insiders with Dave Price.
In 1978, the Dow closed the year at 805. Gas cost 63 cents, and Tom Miller got elected for the first time as Iowa's Attorney General. He says that he still wants to see through that settlement against opioid manufacturers, plus those investigations and those antitrust cases against Google and Facebook. So he wants another term in office. Now, 2 years ago, Miller, the Democrat, and Kim Reynolds, the Republican governor, agreed that Miller would not join multi-state lawsuits without her permission first. So that means his professional duties and private opinions may not always agree.
I've had some experience navigating that now over the years, and here's where I come from, and I think it's really important that, you know, I'm the Attorney General of the state, and I think it's really important that the Attorney General manage and implement the state's litigation, even when he or she doesn't agree with the substance of it. I think that if you get out of a lot of cases because you don't agree with the policy, you have a lot of private counsel coming in of various quality and quantity. You don't have sort of the responsibility and the continuity of legal thought that we have. So I think there's really an important legal and public good that the AG's office do all or practically all the state's litigation.
The governor has a couple of lawsuits dealing in particularly with the mask mandate ban that she and the Republican lawmakers had pushed through. What is your role in those?
We're defending her position in those cases in state court and federal court. That's one of our responsibilities, to defend the state's litigation.
And would this be one of those instances you talked about where you have to kind of put personal?
Well, I probably shouldn't comment on that in the middle of the litigation.
What is it like going through this COVID pandemic? We're dealing with something we haven't experienced before. From your office's side, what are you seeing that's come out as we all deal with this?
Well, first of all, our office was affected like every other office. We made a very sort of dramatic, in a way, switch to working at home back in March of last year. We had a core group of people that came in, some of our key people, to anchor the office, but a lot of work was done from home and done successfully. I think we did the state's business and did it well. So we were able to do that. We started to bring people back after the July 4th, and that was working, and then the Delta variant came along, and so we've had to step back in terms of people coming to the office. But we've worked through that on a broader scale. It's almost inconceivable the damage that COVID has done to our country and to our world. 670,000, 680,000 people dying. The economic and the hardships that come from the economic consequences. It's been terrible for our country, and people have struggled. People have tried to do their best, and I respect that.
From the health side, which is hard to do, but are you seeing areas where fraud is part of this, where people are trying to take advantage of others? I've seen in other states where the vaccine passports, or whatever you want to call it, where you prove that you've had your vaccinations, you can buy some fraudulent ones on the internet, what have you. Are you noticing anything in our state when it comes to fraud?
Well, we've seen, throughout the epidemic, significant fraud in terms of cures, in terms of products, in terms of price gouging. We have seen a lot, and tried to be very active in trying to deal with that. I think we have one of the most active consumer protection divisions, and they stepped up to the plate and have worked on that.
Is there anything you can point out in particular that's come up?
Well, I think that initially it was price gouging that we saw a fair amount of, and you know, got a handle on that, I think, for the most part. The frauds concerning cures were sort of random. There was nothing that really stood out, fortunately.
One of the things you've also been involved with the last couple of years would be these antitrust cases with Google and Facebook. These are such giant companies, right, that provide such a variety of services. What is your involvement in this?
Well, you know, we have a very productive group of states that work together on these kinds of cases, multi-states they're called. And in both the Google case and Facebook, we have 49 states involved. And we've played a leadership role on the executive committee of both states, drawing on my experience from the Microsoft case, for instance, and drawing on our lawyers that have worked really hard on both cases. And on those cases, I always like to be a good team player and have worked a lot with others. Doug Peterson, our wonderful neighbor, the Nebraska AG, who's a Republican, he and I have worked hard on the Google side of making it as bipartisan as it can be, and it really has been. Even working with the Trump Justice Department, that was a very good relationship.
You said 49 states. Obviously, it's bipartisan, but we're missing somebody.
Well,
who are we missing?
Alabama has not.
What's their deal?
Well, I'm not sure. You'd have to ask them.
How is that? How does that process work? Can you kind of take us inside on this? We're used to seeing you as a lead when it's in our state, but when you're dealing with all of these other states, how does that process go forward when you have to coordinate with 48 other attorneys general?
Well, our multi-states, I've said, are more an art than a science. And art maybe dramatizes it a little, or glamorizes it a little too much. You know, in consumer and antitrust, there are, leadership roles that people play on particular cases. For instance, on the bank mortgage, that was something that we were out ahead on, and I was the chief attorney general on that case. So it sort of evolves in terms of what you've done in the past, and as cases come up, and with the antitrust, the chairs of the co-chairs of the committee. So and there are various working groups. So there are all these informal relationships, and in terms of who steps forward and who are the leaders, and people are given a chance to join. People are given a chance to be on the executive committee. So it's a very fluid thing, and has worked pretty well so far. And we really try to be very conscious of balancing the leadership roles in the executive committee on parties to have it roughly equal. And that has served us well. I think attorney generals are the most bipartisan group of elected officials in the country, and we take some pride in that. And I think that's produced better results for our citizens than otherwise.
The AG's back for the Quick Six, including why he has enjoyed comfortable re-elections lately in his mind. But first, what one insider says is behind the popularity of Iowa's governor.